Alright guys, here we are. We made it. The final major segment from the hanging jails, which is where we are now, to stabbing the queen. I left 20 minutes for us to try and get this done. I think it's easy to shave 4 minutes off that. So even if you're about 4 minutes behind even if you're at like the 122 mark in total time once you get to this point, it's still easy to get a 150 total time, which is about a 145 in-game time. And I really enjoy this part of the run, and I would recommend that anytime you're practicing this game, you always end by practicing this part of the run so it gets really smooth and the jitters don't get to you. So now we're going to be jumping from jail to jail, and there's not much to say about this except instead of looking at the other jail, I tend to look at these rivets in the ground as my guide for what direction to jump in. And if you do all your jumps correctly, you'll always grab that top railing. And I didn't that time, but that's okay. But see how that you lose a couple seconds that way? That one I got. Ooh, that was bad. This one I haven't actually figured out the proper angle to get it. This one, if you do it correctly, you won't even have to grab the wall. There we go. One more. I'm watching this rivet right here in front of me, jumping kind of next to it. And I haven't actually experimented with how steep to go with these, but one of the best thing about this section is there's no benches and there's no gates to save, but anytime you go into a new load screen like I'm about to do right here, that becomes your new save point. So suddenly the game becomes a lot more generous. So we're about to go through here, and now if we die any point after this, we won't start all the way back at the jails. Instead, we'll start right here. Okay, we're going to skip a cutscene, start running forward, pull this lever, skip another cutscene. There's a lot of cutscenes in this area. And if you remember from segment 4, we were looking down on all of this from above. Now we're actually doing it. Woohoo! This part, I just like the platforming. I don't know. Maybe it's because for once we're not having to figure out how to get Yorda through all of it, but it's great. Okay, I'm going to intentionally jump poorly on this ladder. Look how finicky this ladder is. Did you see that? I was like really close, but I was slightly to the right. That was way to the left. I was trying to jump slightly to the left. But you have to hit this ladder dead center, or it won't count. It won't let you grab it. So just be ready for that. Make sure to be patient with lining up your blocks so that it's easy to do that. It'll take a little bit of practice to get there. Already pushing down at the end after skipping that cutscene, and I didn't grab the block yet. All right, check this out, man. Eco should be a lifeguard. Seriously. So now we're swimming this block over to a chain, and I guess I'm moving mostly right and a little bit down so that I can have this block at a really nice position to jump onto the chain from, right about here, so that when I jump on the chain, I don't have to turn on the chain. Don't ask me how that works. Now it looks like the block is further down. I don't get that. All right. Anyways, we're climbing up the chain. That's the sound of the men working on the chain. All right, the next thing we need to do is push this thing, and it will connect this turning water mill with this one over here. Do you see how that works? It just connects them. But fortunately, when you start pushing something, if you stop pushing it, its momentum will carry it. And so we're going to do something that the world record run does, which is save us a few seconds by falling during the cutscene. So I'm going to look at my left foot. I'm going to count 5 steps, and I'm going to stop pushing. It should do a 6th step automatically, and then I'm going to run and make a jump. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does the 6th one automatically. Jump! And there's the cutscene. Skip the cutscene. Swim to the floor. See if I can actually grab this. Yep. I got that spoke. If not, you can get the next one. But that's the fastest way to do that little part. Yeah. So now we're going across a pole. And just like the poles, just like the pole in the other water mill, We just push to the right and he automatically catches on. Nothing dangerous here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's enough to drop down. I push interact just to be a little safe with this. And halfway across I jump. Just to, it's faster and, oh gosh, this pole can be really hard to grab. But yeah, you just kind of walk up to it and grab it. Alright, here's another little second shaver. Like this section can be so swaggy. So you're supposed to climb up this pole right here that I'm looking at, right? You climb up to the top of the pole or where it ends, you leap off of it and you grab onto that chain. But the world record run showed me I can just do this. Boop! Alright, turn left. This is the one chain where you have to swing more than once. 1, you're gonna have to swing 3 times. 2, 3. Whoop! Alright, push up once to climb a little higher, and then this is just a 1 swing. So get our momentum going, and 1, jump. Cool, huh? Man, thanks to the world record run for optimizing so much of this stuff. And if you fall here, usually you just fall in water, so you won't die, and you'll just have to figure out your way back to whatever part of the puzzle you're at. See that ladder over there? We don't get on that ladder, but if we fall during this little platform section, we can use that ladder to recover. I miss this every once in a while. This is kind of tricky. This feels like a Banjo-Kazooie sort of thing right here. Let's see. Oh, we got it. That's fine. It takes some practice, though. And we've made it to the Cliffs of Insanity. So that's the water section. That's the what I call Water World. I just get so much joy doing that part. Again, like I said, finally, it's not about RNG anymore. It's just about your skill. Now, I'm gonna try and do a crazy jump here, and if I don't get it, it will show you how when you die, you get a nice new load screen right where you get to start right where your last load screen was. Let's see if I can make this jump first. Huh! Nope. I was trying to jump to that ledge. It's really hard to do because the camera's moving. You know, I'm going to give it one more try. Why not? Because this is such a small little time difference we lose. Like, that lost us, I don't know, let's see how many seconds that lost us. 1, 2, 3. I don't know, maybe like 20 seconds with the continue screen and everything of real time. And even less game time. Hey, I think I got it. Yeah! Okay, so that's the fun way to do it that I will never do in a run, and now I'll show you the normal way to do it, which is still has some swag to it. I think he made it. Oh, no, he didn't. All right, here we go. So the normal way is, instead of trying to make that jump to the right ledge, we're just going to jump to the ledge that's protruding out by jumping almost straight forward once we get here. There we go. I pushed that a little bit. And this jump is a little tricky. If you're feeling precarious about it, just do what I've started doing, which is just using the up D-pad to make sure I'm running straight. And you'll make that jump. Hug this wall here to try not to stumble. What is happening? I think I tried to call Yorda and the camera got really confused. Drop. Gonna get over to this other ledge here and drop again. Oh. Jump over to this ledge. And you can crawl all the way over there if you want. How long does this take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm actually not sure where you can drop. I usually wait till I see my shadow, so maybe right there. So that takes a while, right? I'm gonna show you a faster way to do this. And more swag points. Alright, so let's say you were on that other ledge and you jumped and now you're right here. I'm going to slowly start, I'm just going to tap on the left D-pad to get to where my feet are about right there, and now I'm going to jump while pushing the left D-pad. Watch. Boom! Saved us a lot of time, and didn't that look cool? You're going to impress all the people on the stream. Since Eco runs a little slower when he's running uphill, you want to try and stay right on the top of that pipe. Because if you're, like, doing this, it really slows you down. And we made it to another load screen. So, we are in the, we're approaching the final segment before the big boss fight. I'm excited. Are you excited? Like, now that we've made it through all those heavy RNG things, like, this is why I like to I encourage you to practice doing this smoothly, because you can get a real sense of comfort that, okay, now I'm reaching a part that's not so bad. All right, we need to jump to that ledge over there. I'm pushing down once, pushing left once. Oh, I'm a little high. I'm gonna try it anyways. Can I jump from here? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, it's a little bit high. And run along this path. Doo-doo-doo. At first, I wouldn't recommend calling Yorda until you're comfortable with this, because the camera motions can really get you going. All right, now we're gonna pull this thing, and this is another one where the momentum keeps it going. So I'm actually gonna stop pulling at a certain point and then just jump. Gonna stand directly under it and use the D-pad. Now here, I don't want to jump too early. What I'm gonna do is jump late enough so that my head hits the chain, and then my back hits this this wall thing right here, and then I'll bounce back into the chain further down. I'm using the down D-pad to make sure I run straight. Let's see if it works. Bonk, boop, bam. And then when the chain comes back, I just leap off, and there you are. We saved ourselves so much time with that goofy double bonk thing. Jump over that sneaky rock. We've got 2 more big jumps here coming up. They're shallower, closer to the wall, those jumps, so I like to be close to the wall just to be safe. And if you want to do one more swag jump, there's one you can do here, which is jumping at about this angle to land on that ledge below. But if I was having a PB, I would not want to risk that, and so I'd probably just go right here and jump. It doesn't save much time at all. And you can go down this ladder, but okay, look at these little corners that are made by the architecture. You see how it's like, yeah, that's not a good angle for it. Okay, yeah, from right here you can see like there's these little corners made by the architecture as it moves around the building. So after this one little one, I count 2 corners. Here's one corner, here's another corner, and directly below this is one of those idle gates. And so instead of going down this ladder, you can run over 2 corners, use interact to slowly walk and hang off of this. You notice how he does a little flop as he's going down? If you press release while he's doing that flop, his momentum will actually cause him to miss these idle thing, and he'll die. So wait for after the flop, and then drop, and you save your flop and drop. And you saved yourself a couple seconds. Now let's go get the Queen's sword, or as I like to call it, the He-Man sword. Guys, we're almost done. And basically, once you have the sword in your hands, you're kind of invincible. So it just makes this part a lot of fun. And the Queen's fight is very easy to do. It's very predictable once you're comfortable with it. It's no sweat. All right, skip this cutscene. I have the power. I say that every time. Streamers, I hope, will either start saying, people watching will either start saying it with me or get really annoyed. I'll be happy with either outcome. Guys, I'm smiling right now. You've been watched all this way. You're ready to have the pre-boss fight and the boss fight. All this is stuff that was in the opening cinematic too that we had to skip. But if you were doing your first playthrough of the game, it'd be like, whoa, this is all the stuff we saw before. Double cutscene skip here. Sometimes the camera likes to mess with you when you come out of that cutscene and it's off and you have to feel your way right there. You'll see it when it happens. Alright. Let's go rescue the princess. I wish there was a Ico with a green shirt so there could be like Mario Ico Mario Ico and Luigi Ico. Man, my words. This is what I get for making tutorials late at night. Alright, cutscene. Yes, we know she's in stone. Yes, she's surrounded by shadows. Alright, we want to do our best to try and get a couple of these shadows right away. And as soon as our feet hit the top of this floor at the top of these stairs, they're going to scatter. So what we're going to do is run and jump from, near the top of the stairs and see if we can get any of them. Sometimes I get really good with this, and sometimes I don't get any. Alright, I got a couple. That one's trapped back there, so I'll go ahead and get him. Oh, I got 4. That was pretty good. All right. Now, let's talk about these guys. I'm going to show you first of all. Here's what happens if you just try and run around and chase them. they really like to run from you. You might get some of them sometimes, and actually this is going kind of well. Maybe I should try it this way. But the world record holder, what he does is he stands here and he waits for them to get behind him. And see, that way they're like trapped in between two walls, and then he turns around and he swats them. And then he turns back around to make them fall behind him again, and then he turns around and he swats them, and sometimes he'll get 2 or 3. This is a great method. The guy who currently holds 3rd place, what he likes to do, and I'll just let you experiment with which one you want to do, which one you like most. He stands here and waits for them to come and fly in front of him. There's 53 of these shadows, by the way, if you want to. And then he steps forward and gets them, like that. So you see, again, the key is trapping them. Maybe I'm not showing his method as well. Check out Shizuku's run. And you know, sometimes it takes them a while to get around to the path in front of you. Now, I really like the world records method, but I like doing it here, because it's easier to measure how far away I am, and I like to just get them with my backswing as opposed to having to turn around. Like this. Also, the advantage of, sometimes you have to adjust, like his footing will change a little bit. But see, all I'm doing is just hitting the attack button. And the thing that's easier to do from this side or the other side as opposed to the front is check on how these sarcophagi are doing as far as being lit up. There's kind of some RNG to this, and yet at the same time, it's no matter which method you're using, it kind of takes the same amount of time to get rid of all of them. But if you're chasing them all over this whole area, it's a lot more annoying. So it's like sometimes they're more aggressive, sometimes they're less. Let's see how... I haven't been counting, obviously. Been too busy explaining this to you. 3 at once! Get on my level. I like this music too. It's like the first time we actually have like a real soundtrack going in this game. Oops, I was standing in a weird way. Just be patient. If it seems like they're kind of trolling you a little bit, and maybe it's just 1 or 2 left, and they're just like stuck in like a pattern. Like that guy, he's just like doing some kind of weird speed skating thing. Just be patient. Maybe move around a little bit to see if you can manipulate them. This is kind of a weird dry spell I'm having, but it happens. I thought there was another guy up here somewhere. And you'll know when you're done because your grip will change. Because it's only gripped when they're close by. So maybe that's all of them. I'm going to take a guess. Sometimes they get stuck in these weird glitches. Let's see if this was good enough. I'll even jump here in case there's a cutscene. Oh, yeah. So look how far away I was able to get because I was watching my grip change. Every once in a while, though, your grip will change, and it's because one of them is really far away, and it's glitching, and it's not even coming to you. And that can happen. It can troll you. You can lose 20 or 30 seconds. It's kind of annoying, but there's not much you could do about it. The more you do it, the more you get a feel for, you know, how long you've been doing it and how close you are to finishing. I've only attempted to count them once, and it was not very fun. I was off by like a couple. Counting 53 shadows, and sometimes you kill more than one, and you don't even realize it because of how they kind of overlap. All right, so to get the queen to appear, all we have to do is walk up to the top of this step right here, and then walk back down and stop here. And she says, "Wait." Okay, now we're gonna skip a cutscene. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's an actual cutscene here, but well, maybe. All right. And then we're just gonna leap onto the stairs. It's gonna go to another cutscene. And now we're picking up the sword and we're running towards her. As long as you have the sword, these blasts that she shoots can't hurt you. And if you swing at the right moment, it won't even stop your momentum. Now we've got to memorize this pattern. So, shallow right. Mid-deep left. Yeah, that was perfect. Did you see that? It kind of saves some time. Sometimes you can get a stab in. Shallow left. This next one's kind of sneaky. No, didn't get that one off. Okay, this time it's going to be on the wall. Nope, didn't get. I was a little late on that one. And here's the tough one. Oh, I didn't get that jump off. Okay, no problem. All right. The only other, if you're not holding the sword, you'll get turned to stone unless you're behind these. I'm going to pull this too and start running. And this is the one that's in the far back right. Got it. Ooh, and I made a good thing. Now I'm going to get behind this idle thing for the next wave. See? Saves me a little bit of time. Only one more to have to face. And we kill her. GG! The sword always falls in that same pattern every time. Shallow right on the stairs, mid-deep left, shallow left, wall left, far back on the right. After a while, you just kind of... This part becomes so automatic. It's really kind of anticlimactic compared to how hard some of the shadow fights are. The fact that she's so predictable when everything else is so RNG heavy. But man, that's what... Like, once you've made it to the gate and you've started segment 6, it's all gold from here, because there's no more RNG messing with you except for the giant shadow fight right before this. And even that is only minimal, because they can't attack you. You've got that sword, you know, they don't hit you at all. They're just kind of trying to hit you, maybe? Or maybe they're even trying to get their souls released by your sword at that point. Who knows? We can't skip this cutscene. So from the Queen Stab to the end of the game is about 12 minutes. So if you're keeping track of time and you're trying to get a 145 in-game time, which would be about a 149 real time, then you want to stab her by 1 hour and 37 minutes. That's what you're going for. So it's the math. Any questions while we watch this? I think we'll go ahead and play this out just so I can talk about the tiny bit of strategy that's at the end of this section. And this music is going to copyright claim this video, but who cares? I'm doing this for you guys. Ugh. Let's see. What else can I say that's interesting at this point? Yorda, come save me. All right. So I've been reading the novelization of this game. It's called Eco Castle in the Mist, and it was first written in Japanese and then translated into English by like a very famous young adult novelist in Japan. She's like won tons of awards and stuff, and I'm about halfway through it right now, and it is good. Man, I'm really enjoying it. Like, you'd think telling a story where there's almost no dialogue in the video game would be pretty boring. And there are a couple parts where it's actually explaining him figuring out the puzzles that you actually play in this game, and you're like, come on, Eco, just use some speedrun strats. Just skip over this part. And it's like, Eco fumbles for the lever. And you're like, dude, come on. You don't even need to do this section. You can skip over it. Why don't you just skip over it? But the whole first part of the book is about Eco living in a village, and how, as a boy, when he was born with horns, his parents were considered cursed and they had to leave the village, and he was raised by the elder and the elder's wife, and they raised him, training him from a very young age to understand that he was going to be a sacrifice for the village. And around when he hit age 13 his little bumps that were on his head for all of his childhood and made him almost indistinguishable from other children. Overnight, they became fully longhorns. And that's when they knew that they were going to take him to be a sacrifice. I'm like, that's really cool, kind of getting that backstory to it. And, his foster mom doesn't want to let him go. She loves him so much. And the foster dad's like, we don't want our whole village to turn to stone, do we? And I won't spoil too much of it for you, but they actually find out that Iko is special in a different way. And when they send him to the castle, they think there's a chance that he might break the curse. And we did! We broke the curse! Yay! This village no longer has to live in fear of this evil queen who can turn an entire nation into stone. And he actually delivered the entire earth from eventually suffering that same fate. The queen was very close to reaching, I guess, a point in her power from all of the sacrifices where she was going to be able to unite with the god of darkness and turn the entire earth to stone, and then start a new creation on earth, which was a creation of darkness. So Iko just saved everybody, everyone. Yay, we did it. You were a part of that, and so was I. Or you will have been a part of it. Yeah, I'm using the future perfect. I know it's going to have happened when you will have done it. Who knows, maybe you'll break my PB. Feel free to skip if you've been watching all this and you're watching on a recorded video on YouTube or on Twitch. Feel free to just skip to where you see footage of me getting out of the boat on the beach after all the black credits go through, the final credits. We got about 10 more minutes to go here. From the West Idle Stairs to the Queen Stab, if you take away my intentional deaths, that would have been really solid. And that from the main gate to the Queen, I think if I hadn't been stopping and explaining with how I did it, if you can get to that point where you can do those trick jumps and stuff and not fall and waste time, I think you could easily get 16 minutes instead of 20 minutes on that last segment. Because yeah, the Hanging Jails to the Queen Stab, I gave you 20 minutes, but what will most likely happen is it'll take more time for you to do the Nightmare segment, which is the Graveyard to the Stone Pillar exit, and then less time to do the Hanging Jails to the Queen Stab, and it will balance out. And if you practice well, you'll get to where you're shaving time off of all these other segments anyways. And with the strats that I explained, if you're doing all of those cuts and you do it smoothly to where, maybe a couple shadow fights go wrong, but you're not making any major mistakes on the stuff you can control, I think it's pretty easy to get a sub 140 time in-game time. My current best PB is 137.29, and I still have room to improve. It wasn't the best graveyard skip or sewer skip, and I made a couple other tiny little mistakes, so there's still room for me to improve. But even with not a perfect run, I was able to get well under 140 in game time, so maybe that'd be something to shoot for if you're using all of the strats. These suggested save points that I have here, whoa, what just happened to Iko? I flipped him and turned him upside down, my pointer. How do I flip it back over? Do I double click on it? No, that didn't work. Maybe if okay, there we go. These suggested save points are if you are doing this run as part of the Team Eco Marathon Challenge, where you're playing Eco and then Shadow of the Colossus and then The Last Guardian. And my thought is, why risk losing way too much time in eco and getting it perfect when it's only the first part of your run. And let's be honest, most of you, your bread and butter is going to be Shadow of Colossus anyway. That's going to be what you've done the most and what you're the most comfortable with. So I would say these suggested save points are with that in mind, where you're just trying to get about a 150 real time, 145 in-game time, and you can afford to make a couple mistakes because it doesn't have to be a perfect run. These save points are at places where there's not a really close gate to autosave for you, and so it's more punishing. You go further back if you don't save at those points. I think the water tower one especially, and the graveyard especially, are really punishing if you don't do those two, and the others are optional. Alright, here we go. We are now at the beach, and I have one little piece of advice for this part, which is going to seem kind of obvious. So your run started as soon as you pressed a new game, and we're about to go into get out of a cinematic and run across the beach and find, oh, Yorda's alive. And as soon as that cinematic starts, when we reach her, that's when we hit the timer for the end of the run. And the reason we have to do this is because, guess what? It's actual gameplay. There's still gameplay left in this game after those 11 minutes of credits. So we have to run across the beach for about a minute, or maybe a little bit more. I love this. Ugh! He's been through so much and he can't even get out of a boat now. Okay. As per usual, jump start once you're out of a cutscene to get a little bit faster. And you can see the camera's going to keep switching angles on us, but I'm doing my best to make a straight line to where that bend in the water is. Where I'm just going to, as soon as the camera fixes back, I'm going to stop. So right here, I'm trying to run in a straight line to that point as opposed to following the ocean. It's a little bit faster, and believe it or not, the world record run, I think, could have done this part a little bit better. My split right here is better than the world record. Probably the only place where that happens in my entire career of speedrunning this game. Do you hear the seabirds? I have my game set a little bright because it makes certain parts that are dark easier, but it does make this part a little more challenging. Like, I think I'm in water, and to be honest, I haven't figured out if the water slows you down while you're running, but I don't think it does. I could be wrong. Let's see. I'm gonna run right here. Does it look like he's going slower? I can't tell. Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Alright, and time. And that's the end of your run. We did it, guys. Congratulations. If you found these videos helpful and you're watching on YouTube, please leave a like and a comment. It would be much appreciated. And any questions you have, leave comments. Find me streaming this on Twitch and comment. Ask any questions you have. Join the Team Eco Speedrun Discord. You can find links to that through speedrun.com for the Shadow Colossus stuff. And and finally, if you save and then pick a spot that you saved at, it will show you what your final in-game time was. There's my PB right now. This time means nothing because we spent so much time explaining, but I'm just doing it just for the fun of it. I'm guessing it's, I don't even know what to guess, over 2 hours probably, right? From where I started. Oh, 146. How about that? That was with all the stops and explanations and stuff. Now, this isn't a solid run from the beginning of the tutorial, as you guys know, but it was, I guess, from when we started the beginning of segment 5, so not too shabby. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you around. Don't be a stranger. Bye.